Joseph Murphy lectured for many years that material wealth is not happenstance, but determined by the dominant vibrational frequency that someone builds in their inner world. When Murphy analyzed families that faced persistent financial problems, he noticed an intriguing yet unsettling pattern. These families carried, without realizing it, an energetic atmosphere of limitation that continued from generation to generation, like a scratched record playing non-stop the same music of lack. Murphy called this phenomenon vibrational inheritance. He recognized that each family possesses a specific vibration related to money, a frequency that is transmitted through actions, veiled beliefs and feelings regarding financial difficulties. This family resonance acts like a veiled instruction, establishing not just what value an individual can save, but as well as their essential bond with money. Murphy realized that many of the financial blocks that he detected did not stem from incompetence or misfortune, but just in the inherited vibration that every being incorporated since birth. This epiphany completely changed the approach that Murphy viewed financial change. In place of guiding simply ways to obtain income or resource allocation approaches, Murphy dedicated himself to something essential: transforming the vibrational energy regarding money that a person assimilated from their heritage. Murphy shared impressive situations of clients who were able to transcend this inherited vibration, employing specific methods of mental reprogramming. One of these narratives involved a businessman called Roberto, whose ancestors faced a systematic pattern of economic lack of success that prolonged itself through generations. His male ancestor had lost everything he possessed in a calamitous investment. His father had lived through unsuccessful initiatives, and Roberto, albeit dedicating himself to work obsessively, found himself replicating the same destructive pattern. On every occasion that he succeeded to amass a significant sum of resources, an event happened in an inexplicable way, and the individual experienced the loss of everything. It was as if there prevailed an unknown force hindering his rational attempts. Murphy mentored Roberto for months, teaching him an essential truth that would represent the core in his complete doctrine. The subconscious mind does not recognize a difference between wealth you earned and wealth your ancestors believed to be worthy. If within you inhabits the pattern that wealth is threatening, that evolving economically is dangerous, that financial tranquility is deceptive or a hoax, in this way your unconscious will function incessantly to preserve you in this resonance, because it appears to be the absolute truth. The deep mind does not critically analyze. It merely executes the codes that were programmed in your mind through experiential heritage. Roberto at last comprehended that he was not complacent or incompetent. He was programmed, and mental patterns can be reprogrammed. Murphy expounded that when you modify the dominant vibration in your being, you transform the order that you communicate to your unconscious. It functions like reprogramming a system that was functioning with outdated software, which is harmful. If the system finds itself adjusted, capacitated to receive merely an exact quantity of patrimony, then that will be precisely what you will conquer, apart from how much you work. Murphy demonstrated this mechanism by means of intensive visualization practices that he had formulated in the course of decades. He instructed his patients to consecrate 5 to 10 minutes each morning, by preference right upon waking when the psyche is situated in receptive alpha waves, imagining not merely the entry of capital in their existence, but essentially the inner perception of confidence, authentic confidence and personal value that connects this flow. Murphy emphasized decidedly that this sensation constituted the true key. It was not the fortune by itself that mattered for the metamorphosis. It constituted the frequency that the individual formed in relation to money. With Roberto, Murphy started a process that he named Ancestral Vibrational Transmutation, a system that he had perfected through various proven cases. Roberto would need to, for 8 weeks, commit a quarter of an hour each night at bedtime in a state of deep meditation. In this state, Roberto should identify in a conscious way the complete financial path of his group of origin. He should mentally evoke his grandfather going through the economic collapse, his parents struggling with unsuccessful initiatives, and all this ancestral lineage who came previously taking like patterns. Then, psychically, Roberto should express with genuine feeling, "I accept your path. I tribute with admiration the challenges you faced. I recognize the importance of the path you walked and the adversities you experienced. Yet, at this moment, in this sacred moment, I liberate this resonance of scarcity from my consciousness. I institute a new pattern for my ancestors. From now on my path, flow, wealth, and financial certainty are the dominant patterns that rules my choices and my life. Murphy observed meticulously that when Roberto did this with genuine sincerity, with true emotional feeling that involved his whole being, something extraordinary began to happen in the external world. Roberto's financial situations began to reorganize subtly, but surely. An opportunity that Roberto would have previously rejected out of fear or mistrust came to be seen under a new, illuminated perspective. An old client returned with a substantial project. An unexpected scholarship for his daughter appeared at the exact moment when her education was a financial concern. None of this was coincidence, Murphy explained with conviction. It was simply the natural and inevitable consequence of an altered vibration. When you change your internal vibration, the entire universe needs to reorganize itself to correspond to this new frequency you have established. People, opportunities, resources, everything begins to align differently in your life. Murphy developed a teaching that he referred to as Law of Vibrational Correspondence, a truth that he had confirmed in hundreds of cases. This axiom states simply that the exterior environment always mirrors perfectly to the dominant internal reality. If in your psyche prevails with genuine dread of poverty, then the exterior reality will manifest permanently moments that confirm this fear and confirm your restrictive belief. If in your psyche prevails genuine security in your innate fullness, then the surrounding environment will reveal perspectives that expand and amplify this tranquility. The most innovative point of this law is that it operates regardless of your current state or your past history. A person completely indebted who changes their dominant vibration to plenty will commence within a few weeks to observe small changes that are observable. These transformations tend to be subtle at the beginning, but are markers of a deep transformation. An unexpected cost is prevented inasmuch as you choose to cease making a purchase on impulse. A possibility arises because you found yourself in better mental state to interact with a significant person. Your physical totality starts to pulse in a new pattern. Murphy had a special interest in the family aspect of this transformation because he had observed an extraordinary phenomenon repeatedly. When a person changes their vibration and manages to maintain this change for a sufficient period, the entire family dynamic begins to reorganize deeply. Children who were struggling financially begin to prosper unexpectedly. Parents who faced chronic difficulties find new solutions and paths. It is as if this person, by raising their own vibration, pulled the entire lineage to a new vibrational level. Murphy explained this as a principle of family resonance. When a musical instrument begins to vibrate at a specific frequency, all other nearby instruments naturally begin to vibrate at the same frequency, even without physical contact. Likewise, when you establish a vibration of prosperity within you, all those energetically linked to you naturally begin to enter into resonance with this elevated frequency you created. To create this alteration of frequency that was stable and genuine, Murphy created a method structured in 3 stages that he considered completely indispensable for real transformation. The first step is what Murphy termed conscious ancestral recognition, and he insisted that it was ineffective to advance without ending genuinely this initial stage. In this pass, you must commit time truly understanding the complete financial history of your ancestors. This does not imply inculpating your predecessors or rejecting them with negative feeling. It signifies simply perceiving with total transparency what they lived, the deep wounds that they experienced, the formattings that they established as a system of resistance in difficult times. Murphy perceived that many individuals strive to avoid seeing this uncomfortable history, strive to pretend it was not real, and this obstructed irremediably the true transformation. It remains totally impossible to free oneself from something you refuse consciously to admit. Murphy guided his students to commence this simple method, which is transforming. At night, preferably before sleep when the mind finds itself more receptive, install yourself in total silence. Perform breaths in a deep way repeatedly, and psychically think deeply on your family. Visualize the faces of those who came before. Admit the adversities that they lived. Communicate internally with sincerity, something like, "I accept that you, my progenitor, endured deep losses that created deep dread in your being. I admit that you, my female ancestor, established survival mechanisms that propagated successively through generations." Murphy explained that this recognition is deeply healing on a spiritual and psychological level. By recognizing the story, you take this story out of the unconscious, where it operates silently controlling your actions, and bring it to the full light of consciousness. In this clear light, it loses the power to control you automatically. It ceases to be something that controls you like a puppet and becomes something you see with absolute clarity and can choose to transform. Murphy used to say with emphasis that nothing that remains unconscious can be truly transformed. Everything that is brought to consciousness can be worked on, can be dissolved, can be rewritten in a completely different way. This first stage should be practiced for at least 2 weeks every day with genuine emotion and complete attention. The second stage of Murphy's method is what he called declared vibrational disconnection, and he was absolutely clear about its critical importance. In this stage, after consciously recognizing the ancestral story, you must declare with authority that this vibration of limitation will no longer be the dominant force of your life. Murphy was not in favor of a vague or intellectual approach in this stage. He demanded genuine emotion, clear intention, and deep commitment, not just to the words but to real transformation. After recognition, still in your moment of silence at night, Murphy instructed his clients to place their hand over their heart and say with unshakable emotional firmness, "I completely release the vibration of scarcity that was inherited through generations. I unlink my conscious mind from every pattern of financial limitation that belonged to my ancestors. I allow my soul to be the genuine and true origin of my prosperity and abundance. From this moment, the dominant vibration I establish and maintain is that of conscious abundance, genuine confidence, and unlimited flow." Murphy elucidated that this proclamation acts for it forms a new authority inside you. You are not rebuffing your family or your narrative. You stay just practicing your legitimate right as a conscious being who is self-determined to choose a different vibration. Murphy had observed multiple cases proven where this affirmation, when done with sincere and genuine emotion, generated a frequency interruption so powerful and transforming that visible changes began in days following. He kept noted situations where clients communicated intense dreams and extraordinary ones moments after the confession, dreams in which their ancestors appeared to confirm this vibrational change with quiet approval and vibrational acquiescence. Despite the fact that Murphy presented himself as a methodical researcher who was precise in his general way of proceeding, he accepted that there existed events that transcended merely material understanding and analytical logic. The third stage is the one Murphy considered absolutely the heart and soul of the entire vibrational transformation. He called it continuous vibrational re-establishment, and it was in this stage that the real work of rewriting your financial reality happened. In this stage, you not only dissolve the old problematic vibration, but actively establish a new vibration that becomes your dominant pattern. Murphy was extremely specific and precise about how to do this to achieve real results. After the declaration of disconnection, still in their deep and receptive meditative state, Murphy instructed his clients to visualize a field of golden, luminous, and living energy completely enveloping their heart, radiating to their entire body. This field is not vague or abstract. It is real, intensely felt in the body, palpable like a transforming physical presence. Murphy frequently asked his clients to describe in precise detail how this golden field felt in their physical body. Some described gentle and comforting heat. Others described deep and enveloping safety. Still others described an extraordinary sensation of expansion and freedom. While he kept this sensitive manifestation and experienced, Murphy oriented with firmness. Say mentally with absolute conviction, "My dominant vibrational pattern now becomes conscious fullness. My physical shell vibrates integrally with monetary solidity. My deep being is completely reprogrammed, capacitated to receive abundantly, to conquer integrally, and to sustain indefinitely abundance. My resonance establishes itself harmonized exactly with opportunity, inexhaustible current, and infinite expansion. The lack that was bequeathed eclipsed itself fully, definitively. The abundance that is my innate spiritual right installs itself now as the definitive condition of my existence. Murphy underlined indisputably that these sentences must be said not superficially out of habit or externally, but with genuine deep emotion, with sincerity that comes from the heart, as if you were proclaiming the supreme truth and basic of your complete life. Murphy observed that this third stage is exactly where most people faced significant difficulties in the process. They managed to do the first two stages with some success, but in the third stage, the rational mind began to doubt and question. How can I say I am prosperous if I have significant debts? How can I say my vibration is abundance if my bank account tells another story of limitation? How can I declare what only my current reality denies? Murphy had a clear and transformative answer for this. He explained that the rational mind does not govern true reality. Vibration governs reality. The rational mind is merely a tool that describes retroactively what vibration has already created. If you want to change what the rational mind describes, you must first change the vibration at the root. Murphy used a potent and transformative metaphor. He said that vibration is like the root of a tree, and visible financial results are like the branches, leaves, and flowers. If you only look at the visible branches and try to change the tree by pruning the branches, you will never achieve real or lasting change. But if you change the fundamental root, the whole tree changes inevitably. Murphy suggested that this final phase be fulfilled each day, without exception, for a term of 40 days successive. He had selected the duration of 40 days, given that he had identified in diverse cases that it was specifically the necessary duration for a new resonance to install itself definitively as the dominant pattern in the core of the subconscious mind. The initial period of 14 days concerned rooting and implantation of the new vibration. The new frequency still presents itself as fragile and provisional. It still disputes powerfully with the primitive molds that try to persist. In the period of 15 to 28 days, something fundamentally changes and unlocks itself. The new frequency gives start progressively to acquire true power, to perceive more spontaneous and authentic, more essential to your heart. During days 29 until 40, the renewed energy at last consolidates itself as the predominant vibration that determines your reactions. Following 40 days of constant application and heartfelt practice, Murphy verified that his clients described an emotional alteration so significant that it was visible even to external observers. The dread that freezes regarding money decreased dramatically until dissipating. The remorse of prospering and obtaining dissolved itself integrally. A certainty which was serene, genuine, and unbreakable in the financial future commenced to manifest spontaneously from your essence. Murphy had a particular and very effective method to help his clients maintain absolute consistency during these critical 40 days. He recommended they keep a simple and honest journal. Each night, after completing the full ritual of the 3 stages, they should briefly note what they felt and observed, not for heavy intellectual analysis, but simply to deepen the experience and root it. Murphy observed that when people recorded their experience in words, the practice became more concrete, more real, more irrefutable. He also recommended that during these 40 days of transformation, people be particularly attentive to the small signs of change that appeared. A small but significant opportunity that arose unexpectedly, an unexpected expense that was providentially avoided. A casual conversation with someone that led to an interesting and unexpected possibility. Murphy taught that vibrational change does not typically begin with spectacular and dramatic results. It begins, always, with small synchronicities indicating that vibration is genuinely changing at the deepest level. Murphy emphasized a crucial aspect that so many despised absolutely in their fulfillment. In this interval of 40 days of disciplined practice, the concrete acts also possess fundamental importance. The vibrational pattern institutes the fertile ground, yet you continue needing to have the bravery to take action. If a chance emerges on your life path, you require to have the valor to investigate it genuinely. If a conception surges concerning how to increase your income or to diversify your earnings, you require to find yourself prepared to implement it with firmness. Murphy called this aligned action, and it showed itself completely essential. It constitutes the action that emerges naturally as your vibrational pattern has changed to prosperity. This action is radically distinct from the desperate attitude grounded in terror. It is movement that is confident, crystal clear, spontaneous, and certified. Murphy identified that after those who sought him kept the correct energy and behaved constantly in harmony with this vibration, the paths unfolded in ways that before had the appearance of absolutely impossible or even miraculous. The course that Joseph Murphy made available was fundamentally a way of genuine emancipation and radical. It did not represent evasion from real problems. It was embracing the concrete reality that you remained molded by ancestral inherited vibration and deciding in a conscious way and with power to change this frequency fully. It characterized itself as recognizing that you have extraordinary power, not simply to transform your own existence, but to modify the entire journey and future horizon of your complete family. This understanding is real power in its purest expression, not the power uniquely to conquer or to subjugate enemies, however the real power to metamorphose vibrational pattern, to transcend historical blocks. This truth, Murphy professed with absolute certainty, constitutes the real liberation which is monetary and holy that every soul yearns for.